With the recent launch of the brand new iPhones, it's our yearly reminder about how good iPhones and phones in general have got at filming video. And so today I want to go over a few tips to help you take better videos with this amazing device. Now this is an iPhone 11, I don't have the latest iPhone, I wish I did, but these tips aren't specific to the new iPhone or any phone in particular, they're just tips that are going to help you get the most out of this type of camera, which is just the phone camera. Let's start off right at the beginning. The first thing you need to do before you even start pressing that record button is set up your phone right. Now, there are so many options in the settings that you would have maybe never even seen before if you hadn't dived in there and checked them out, but there are many different resolutions, frame rates that you can film on and may be appropriate for different scenarios. For example, if you're filming something that doesn't need to be slowed down, like a talking head in a video like this, that's going to be played back in real time, you might want to choose 24 or 30 frames per second depending on how you feel, and your phone may have options for both. It's important to go into the settings, have a read around, decide which frame rate is going to work best for whatever you want to film, and set it up so it's the default for whenever you start filming. Most phones nowadays can also record 4K video, but this might not be standard on your phone straight away, so it's a good thing to go into the settings and check that you're recording in 4K, if that's what you want, to make sure you've got the highest quality video possible. And particularly on the latest iPhones, you've also got the option for ProRes video, and all sorts of these settings that might give you the tip-top quality if that's what you're after. Just because you're filming on an iPhone doesn't mean that your standard filmmaking practices don't apply. You still need to tell good stories when filming on an iPhone, just like with any other camera. You still need to record good compositions, you still need to record in nice smooth motion. All the standard filmmaking rules still apply to your videos. And if you want to, make sure you plan ahead with your shots. I'm making a video on the Shot Lists app, which is going to come out on Wednesday, literally as I'm filming this video. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any shots, plan ahead, be prepared, just like you would with any other camera. One of the huge advantages that phones have that many other cameras don't is their size. Phones are relatively small when compared to mirrorless cameras like the one I'm filming on at the moment, and this can be really beneficial in so many scenarios. It allows you to get really creative with where and how you place your phone to get specific shots. For example, I took one for a recent TikTok by putting my phone inside my gym locker. Not only would I not normally take my camera to the gym, but my camera wouldn't fit inside this tiny little gym locker, and consequently it allowed me to get a shot that I would not have got before. And that's the great thing about the phones. They can go in places where other cameras can't and allow you to get more creative with your shots. When it comes to filming on your phone, you have many different lenses and cameras to choose from on one phone. This is one of the brilliant advantages of the phone. You've got different focal lengths right at your fingertips. But consequently, there are some cameras on your phone that will be better than others, and in 99% of cases, it's going to be the rearward facing cameras. The two larger sensor cameras on the outside are always going to give you the better quality image, so I'd recommend using them as much as you can. Particularly on iPhones, the ultra-wide lens is the fantastic lens for vlogging or videos in general. I really like using this lens because it gives you this larger-than-life feel. The downside to this is that you won't be able to see yourself when recording, but let's face it, if you're using the wide-angle lens, the chances are you're going to frame yourself right. So I'd recommend using that regardless. One of the limitations of filming on your phone is the fact that they have smaller sensors, and as a result they won't deal as well in low light. However, it's easy to combat this by lighting well. This is another one of those filmmaking practices that you should be implementing anyway. The better you light your shot, the better it will look. This is regardless to any camera, but it's especially important for phones because they have those smaller sensors. If your shot is lit poorly, it'll be much more noticeable on your phone because the quality will degrade a lot more. If the camera automatically has to bump the ISO up, you're going to get images that are way more grainy and less pleasing to look at. If it's possible in your scenario, make sure you light the shot as best as possible using good softbox light like the one I'm using at the moment. If you're in a scenario where you can't use a light, make sure you get some natural light if possible, or if you're filming at night, get some neon signs or street lights just to make sure there's a little bit of light in your image. It will help the quality of your video a lot. Now, these phones are really small, and that's fantastic, but it can also lead us to getting a bit carried away, and we want to just run as fast as possible or do loads of erratic, fast movements with the camera. Now, this can work in certain scenarios, but most of the time it's best to be intentional, and to get the best results, film on your phone like you would on your camera. Using intentional movements and trying to keep your footage as smooth as possible will definitely help level up the quality of your videos. Just remember, don't get totally carried away just because it's small and lightweight. There is a time and place for that, but it's not all the time. One of the great advantages of filming on your phone is how easy it is to switch between different filming modes. And now I'm talking about between video, slow-mo, time-lapse, hyperlapse, or whatever you'd like to call it. It's so easy to just quickly swipe over and swap to different modes. So make sure that you use them in your videos. Now, it's not to say that you need to use a time-lapse in every single video you make. Make sure you use those tools that are available to you in the right scenarios. For example, time-lapses are great for showing time passing, or you can even use them to create hyperlapses, which are very popular on Instagram, for example. 24 frames per second, hyperlapses, 60 frames per second, and slow-mo all have their right place in the right video. Regardless of the camera that you're using, it's really important to keep in mind the audience that your video is going to finally be distributed to. If you're shooting for YouTube, you want to make sure that you're filming in landscape, and the other way around if you're shooting for TikTok or Instagram Reels. This will make sure that you can maintain all that beautiful quality that your phone is producing in the right aspect ratio. Filming in the wrong orientation will mean that you'll have to crop in and potentially lose important parts of your image, and your quality will hugely degrade. Now, this tip might seem really silly, but it's important to clean your lenses. Phones get really grubby, they're in and out of our pockets all the time, and they just pick up loads of fingerprints, dust, dirt on the lenses that we might not really think about. It just makes a huge difference to get a cloth, wipe the front of the lens just before you start shooting, just to make sure everything is clear, and that means your images will be sharper, and they don't have any kind of smudge marks on the front. It's so easy to forget, but it's a tip that will be completely invaluable. It's very simple to do, but it will make your footage look so much better. Like every dedicated camera, every phone camera is different. So it's really important to learn the pros and cons and what it's good at and what it's not so good at. For example, on my iPhone, the ultra wide camera has never been quite as good in low light as the wide camera, simply because it's got different specification, it doesn't let as much light in. It's important to remember that when you're shooting in night scenarios, for example, so that I can use the wide camera, get better quality, unless I really need that ultra wide field of view. Once you learn the camera inside and out, you'll be much more likely to make the right decisions in different scenarios, and it just comes from practice. So that's my final tip. Make sure you get out there, use your phone and practice, because the more you use it, the better you'll get, and all of these things will start to become habit, and you can have great fun filming on your phone. It's something that I've wanted to do more and more, and I'm very excited about the 14 and the 14 Pro because they've got brilliant video specs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. And on that note, make sure you go follow me on TikTok. I'm filming most of my TikToks on my phone at the moment, just because it's simple, easy to do, and frankly, they look great. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.